This video explains how to create and process back orders. You create a back order when you order for certain products and you don't get them at the same time. So for example, I ordered for a certain amount of 2 ml syringes and a certain amount of 10 ml syringes, and I did not get all the quantity I want from the vendor at the same time. But I know for a fact that the vendor is going to supply it at a future date as part of the same order that I placed. I need to create a back order for the products that were not received. In order to demonstrate this, I'll quickly go to the purchases module, and under purchase orders, I'll create a new purchase order. So I'll quickly select the vendor here and select some products. So for the 2 ml syringe, I need 100 of that. For the 5 ml syringe, I need 50 of this. And for the 10 ml syringe, I need 70 of that. So I am done. In order to proceed, I will need to confirm my order. So once I click on the confirm button, I can log out of Odoo. So I'll just simply log in out and log in back in. So if I log back in, assuming that the products have been delivered, I'll go under purchases, and under purchase, I'll click on purchase orders. I can see the most recent purchase order I created is always at the top. So I'll click at that, and then I'll click on receive products. Now this is where I do the receipt of the products. So I'm going to look at the 10 ml syringe. Let's assume I got everything I asked for. So I'll put 100 there and save. And now let's assume for the 5 ml syringe, I do not get everything I asked for. So I'm just going to click to update that and say, let's say I got 30 of that. And then let's assume that for the 10 ml syringe, I didn't even get any quantity, but this is what I have received for now. I can click the validate button. And once I do that, Odoo notices that I didn't get all the quantities or even some of the products I requested for, and asks me if I want to create a back order. I'll go ahead and click create a back order. And then what happens is that Odoo automatically adds the quantities that I have processed. Odoo notices that for the 12 ml syringe, I asked for 100 and I got 100. For the 5 ml syringe, I asked for 50, but I got 30. So it tells me, okay, you've got 30 of that. And then for the 10 ml syringe, Odoo notices that I did not even get any quantity of that. So it only records the ones that I got and automatically adds them to my inventory. So if I go to my inventory, under inventory and under products, I can see that the additions have been made, that I now have 109 2 ml syringe, I now have 39 of this. But for the 10 ml syringe, nothing changed. In order to process the back order, I would need to go back to my purchases module. So I'm going back to the purchases module, and I go back to purchase orders, and I can see I still have my purchase order 0006 here, the one originally created. Now let's assume that a week has passed and the vendor has brought the remaining products that were not processed the first time. I'll click on the same purchase order and I'll click on receive products. Now what happens here is that Odoo notices that I have received some products initially and I did not receive some other products. So what it does is that it has split the purchase order into two, and that's why you can see you have the same source document here, the same source document here, PO0006, and this is available and this is done. So if I click on the bottom, which is done, I will notice that it's actually the 100 of the 12 ml syringe that I ordered for that is done, and the 5 ml syringe, the 30, that is done. So if I back up a bit, I will look at the one that is available, and I will notice something. The 10 ml syringe, I ordered 70, none was provided, and I can see it here. The 5 ml syringe, I ordered for 50, only 30 were provided, so I need an additional 20, and Odoo recognizes that fact and tells me that 20 is what I'm left to process. So I can do the same thing and say, let's say I got all of this and I can save that. And let's just assume for some reason the 20 quantities of the 5 ml syringe that I originally ordered were still not available. I can still leave that and I click on validate, and Odoo tells me, hey, there are still 20 quantities of the 5 ml syringe that you originally ordered for. Do you want to create a back order for this or not? So if I know the vendor is not going to provide it or the vendor has refunded my money, I can say no back order. However, if I know for a fact that the vendor will provide this at a future date, I can create a back order for that again. And then Odoo here notices that I've processed all of this and this is going to be added to my inventory. So if I go back to my inventory and products, I can see that 70 has been added to my 10 ml syringe, but the 5 ml syringe still remain the same. The 20 has not been processed. So if I want to process it, I can do the same process again. I go back to purchases, under purchase, purchase orders. I can see the purchase order I created and I'll click on receive products again. This time I notice that Odoo has created another purchase order, and I can see that 2 of them have been done and 1 is still available. So if I click on the one that is available, I'll see that it is the 25 ml syringes that I ordered for that are still left. So let's assume the vendor has supplied this. Now I can click on validate and Odoo notices that everything is fine, tells me to apply. And once I do that, I have processed all of my initial order. So the important thing to realize is that creating a back order is essential when you know for a fact that all the products you requested for will be supplied, even though not all of them have been supplied to you. So you create a back order in that scenario.